Hey, is that a Reds hat I see over there? What's
Yeah,
the
it's
what's the?
actually
I was
Russell.
gonna
This
say, what
is
is it? Because
it's actually one of the hats
they're
that were
only World
shipped off
Series.
to it's one of the hats that were shipped off to Africa. You know those
Well,
hats
it
that they
wasn't
send?
shipped off to Africa. It was going to go to Africa,
No, it
or did
did.
it make it back?
No,
Oh, it
no,
made
no.
it back.
Hey, I want
This
you
is
guys to
the
know we're live. We're live.
this is the National League Central hat, and they did in that from 1999, and they didn't win the championship that year. They didn't win the National League Central that year.
I mean, what night? 1999.
Yeah, 99 National League Central Division champions. Let me get
All right,
this.
real quick. Who do you think won the 1999 National League Central? Can anybody guess that? I would
Uh,
say the Cardinals won.
I want to say it was the Cubs actually.
Oh, the Cubs were good at that time for
99,
sure.
99.
Yeah, you're probably right, Kev.
Might have been, yeah. Cubbies?
I want to say it was the Cubs. I could be wrong.
All right, lock it in. Cubbies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going. I got to go with Cubs.
Oh, I'm bugged out. Wait. Oh, the okay. So at the time, things were different, and the Astros were in the NL Central.
Oh,
So
that's
they were,
right. Craig Biggio, Jeff
and the
Emmanuel.
Reds. So this is why they made the hat because the Reds were only a game and a half back. It was 97-65 Houston and 96-67 Cincinnati. So there was definitely a chance.
Mm,
So I have
The
this one.
Cubbies, real quick. The Cubbies, 67-95 in dead last place, 30 games back of the Astros. But the St. Louis Cardinals were in fourth after the Pittsburgh Pirates at 75-86, 21 and a half games back. That's some facts. 1999, we're taking it back. I appreciate that hat, Kev. There's always a story to it. You know what I'm saying? Mine, in case anybody's wondering, this is my boy Marcos do Zoo World. So shout out to Zoo World, and man, it's crazy because I've been rocking with his clothing. I have never purchased his clothing because at one point it was not for sale, and he does a lot of exclusive stuff. But my homie knew about him, and one of my best friends, Pablo. Shout out to Pablo. He put me on to him. 10 years later, I'm rocking his stuff. We're cool. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a small world, and he does good work. So shout out to Zoo World, um, Lob City, 1999 Central, Zoo World, All Things Sports podcast on a Thursday night. We're live. I'm here at 1999 Blue Tourage. Excuse me, 1996. I said 1999 because it goddamn tough it, but 1996 Blue Tourage. Um, I got EP, my co-producer, as always. I got Big Kev. You know he's on the camera. Shout out to
Finally.
Kev, bro. Well, I meant it like that's what you do for work, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
your craft, and your that's what your
Look at
bag
that.
is. Look, see you talking about it.
I don't even know
You
what I'm
are on
doing. My phone
camera.
might have died, to be honest.
You'll figure it out. It's all good. Um, we here, man, and it's been a little minute since we went on YouTube. We did a Spaces last week. Appreciate everybody that pulled up to the Spaces. Um, how y'all been?
I'm well. I can't complain. I'm enjoying summertime. It's a little hot down here right now in South Florida, but we're getting by. We're getting to it.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm trying to now figure out if my phone just died, but that's I'm doing good. Other than that, other than this,
I guess. Nah, that's fun. But how's everything been like? How's everything been with work as far as your projects and what you got going on, Kev? Facts. Right. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Anytime now. Yeah. Damn, so he's doing a little. Okay, okay. Nah, so my bad if you couldn't hear me, but shout out to you, shout out to Caso doing y'all thing. Y'all go check those videos out. I definitely seen the preview and I watched the reel and the one you dropped on Twitter. Like, I know it's hard. I haven't gotten to it. I will. Shout out to Caso. Shout yourself, E. Everything good with you? You say you enjoying the summer vibes. Y'all boys in
Yeah,
South
man.
Florida, man. You
I'm great,
know.
man. I'm great. I'm getting back into a routine, you know what I mean? A lot of big things
Hmm.
happening as far as like just setting things up for, rest of my life type shit. So, I
Yeah,
can't complain. We about to dive in. We about to continue to bring you the number one sports podcast in Broward County, you know?
there you go. Let's talk about some NBA free agency. I mean, it's 10:19 now on the East Coast, and free agency's tomorrow. So we're gonna start seeing a lot of deals, and uh, we're gonna start seeing a lot of conversations, meetings. Harden is gonna be a sign and trade. Kyrie Irving's trying to find a new home, hopefully for the long term. Josh Hart opted in for 12 million, and shout out to the Knicks by the way for getting him at that 12 to opt in. IQ wants 100 million, and Sacramento made a deal. So let's dive right into it. Harden, he opts into his deal before the deadline today, and he, I guess, negotiated with the Sixers that he's going to be dealt to another team. So the first two names, the first three names were the Clippers, the Knicks, and the Heat, and then it was like Clippers and Heat. So I don't know. I mean, that's just what's going on right now. That's kind of the climate and the gossip around it. But if you guys uh, want to give your opinions on where you think Harden's going to play next year, I want to hear that. Yeah, we're going to consider cutting him. Yeah, right. Yeah. Mhm.
Facts.
I mean, you get it. You get it. I mean, the first year Jimmy was on the team, we went to the finals. It was the bubble year. So there's that as far as that off season and how things went. Um, but I totally agree with you as far as the ownership, as far as financials go. And we praise uh, Andy Ellisberg so much because he's the money man. He makes all the deals work. He fits it in, and it's like he's having to do this around a penny pinch. A penny pincher is what some people are saying. So It's tough. It is tough for a good franchise with great players to miss out on big time free agents for reasons like that or not. Yeah, not giving stuff up. So that's cool. EP, you got any
Yeah,
on that? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think that the Clippers make the most sense. I mean, they haven't had. I mean, when you think about where he would fit in if he went to LA, back to LA. One, I mean, hometown, so he's going back to the crib. You know what I mean? Two,
Yeah.
um, he would probably. I would see him in LA as probably like at the point guard position. To be honest, and that's not something that LA's had like a true point guard in some time, to be honest. So I could see him fitting in there. Um, I do think that it'd be funny to see him go
You're
back to New
saying
York.
you're saying LA who?
The
Clippers.
Clippers, yeah, my fault. The Clippers, the
Okay.
Clippers, the Clippers, the Clippers.
So since Chris Paul, they haven't
Yeah,
really had a
I would say they haven't really had a true number one
okay.
leader on the team that can facilitate and be like a floor general. Um, I do think it'd be funny if he went back to New York, but on the other side of the river and go play at Madison Square. They have a lot that they could just offer up. To be honest, like they could give up a lot of things. Um, but the thing there, I would say, is how do you fit him in with Jalen Brunson? I mean, I know we saw him mesh well with Chris Paul when they were together, but like seeing that Jalen Brunson is now the New York Knicks number one ball operator, like how does that really fit in New York? So I definitely think that the Clippers makes the most sense, but it could be interesting to see him back in New York. If they get it done quick enough, they could probably replace Toppin with the cap space that they'll save. So that's I think
That's funny. I, I just think go ahead, Kev.
Cap wise, what the numbers are, obviously, that's like, especially with the new CBA, there's a lot of moving parts and different things that are allowed and not allowed, and where you can reach the tax and second aprons and all these different words that I don't understand. But I mean, I wouldn't be mad if Miami got in because it looks like the Clippers are trying to move Norman Powell and Marcus Morris, who I think are two great fits for the Heat. So I think, yeah, I see you, but like, if you're not getting a superstar, I'll
I
take
get it. I know
Norman.
exactly what you're saying. And I no Norman Powell wasn't the eye roll. It was Morris. At this point, it's just like I know, and he's just for the trade. You got to take it. I understand it, but it's just like to hear Morris.
I mean,
That was the
I
eye
think,
roll.
well, we had
It's a good
his
trade.
brother who was considerably
And
worse, the worst brother.
that's
So
true. That's
I
true.
take, but I think Marcus Morris is a lot like PJ Tucker in a sense, and he's tough. He's
Nah, shout out to
he'll
Marcus
rebound.
Morris. Like I don't not like Marcus Morris. It's just like that brother happened. The Jokic thing happened. Now Jokic versus Heat is gonna be a thing. There's gonna be another Morris brother. We don't need all that. That's all I was saying. But Norman Powell, yeah, if we could get Norman Powell, that would be great. However, I think we're still gonna get Damian Lillard. That's me standing, and I will die on that hill the day that he stays with Portland and the season starts, or he signs with another team, or excuse me, gets traded to another team. But I think that's what we're gonna do. I would love Kyrie Irving, if not. And obviously, I sound like this is just a dream, but at the same time, there's a way. There's a way. Players want to be somewhere, and if teams want players, they can make it happen. So
do you have any do you feel any type of way about this free agency for you guys looking similar to last year's free agency where you kind of put your eggs in one basket for
yeah,
one player and then a
yeah,
lot of other
yeah.
shit
That's the
passed
way it's
by?
kind of going. No, no, no. That's the way it's going right now. That's definitely the way it's going right now. But at the same time, I just have this like I said pest, this optimism that's like, yo, Dame, bro, I don't think Dame is gonna want to stay there at like by the end of free agency. I
I think
don't
they've
think.
reached. I think they've reached a point where it's like they both know it's time for both sides to move on, but neither side wants to be the one
Yeah,
to be like,
yeah,
The Trailblazers front office doesn't want to be the bad guy and be like, yo, all right, we're getting rid of you. And Dane doesn't want to be the bad guy or ring chaser. But at the same time, this is dragged on so long that they're getting to that point where it's like not making a move, or like this whole like flirtation with I want to trade or I don't want to trade, like that's getting
Yeah,
annoying. So like I
yeah.
think a lot of the NBA fans and community as a whole are just like fed up, and they're like, all right, make a decision. It's been oh, if they use the pick, oh well, let's see what they could do in free agency.
Mhm.
So it's like, what do you want to be in Portland or not? You're not close to winning a championship in Portland. I don't care what they do in free agency. You're not going to go win it. They want to re-sign Jeremy Grant. That's like their big off-season priority. And you got three young guards, and like the fit to me, you're looking so Orlando Magic-y right now. So I don't understand what Dame even sees to be like, oh well, maybe in free agency. Like nobody wants to go to Portland, bro. Y'all got Nike out there and good weed.
Hey, Portland's definitely great for many things.
Many
Like,
things.
shout out to Portland. Shout out to what it's helped Dame Lillard grow as far as a basketball, as far as like keeping basketball alive throughout this decade, the last decade, and he's just another great. But to Kev's point, yeah, and if the front office wants to not be the bad guy, which I agree with, then I don't see why there would be an issue getting him to play for the team he wants to play for, because the Brooklyn Nets are a threat. The Sixers are a threat, trying to trade. But wherever Dame Lillard wants to play is where he will play at the end of it. So my thing is, I believe he wants to play for the Heat, and he just don't really want to get LeBron'd out or something. I don't know what it is, but and that's cool, bro. That's cool. But there's a deadline for shit. So at the end of that deadline, I feel like the Heat are gonna acquire Damian Lillard, and it's gonna be like one of those. You remember real quick? You remember when Gordon Hayward was a free agent, bro? I wanted him so bad. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted Gordon Hayward so bad. He was nice too, bro. Before he messed up his ankle, he was nice. But at the same time, it was an overhype. But it was because Whiteside's our last big free agent. Like, come on. I wanted somebody that's got a dribble game, and a jump shot. So that being said, you fast forward to now, and it's like I was let down. I feel like this is the summer where it's like he's coming to Miami. So that's what I feel.
And I mean, like it's also funny to see like Heat fans on Twitter like Caleb Martin, no way. Like, brother, I love Caleb Martin too. I get it, but you're not letting that blow up a Damian Lillard deal. I'm sorry, I'm just not letting that
Oh,
happen.
did y'all watch the finals, bro? That's all I want to ask. Did you watch the finals? If you gonna tell me anybody on this team is not worth giving up for Damian Lillard is insane. Obviously, except Jimmy and Bam. But I understand we're not gonna give you him, and him. I get that, and him and this and that. I get that, but at a certain point as well, you kind of got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can't
So
overpay, but you have to be willing to pay the right price too. Like Tyler
you
Hero,
you might just overpay a little bit, and I'm not saying we're gonna do that for Dame, but like in situations like this, you might be willing to overpay just a little bit to make sure if it's that caliber player. You know what I'm saying? Dame Lillard, bless you. Bradley Beal is not the caliber player of Dame Lillard to do you know what I'm saying, to do that. So
the Beal deal I think should have been done, because if you're giving up Duncan and Kyle for a guy like Beal, you still have Hero on the team. You still have your assets to make a potential Dame trade. Now you're looking at a potential starting five of Dame, Jimmy, Beal, and Bam, and then you could throw any three of us in there too, and we'll probably help. We could probably knock down a shot in the corner.
maybe one. Don't even need to. Max Strus went 0 for 9 in that finals game, so we don't need to make a shot in the regular season. Don't trip.
Woo.
Just play some defense if you're gonna do something.
How do you guys feel about Kyrie?
Quick though, on Bradley Beal, the Suns got Bradley Beal, Jordan Goodwin, Isaiah Todd, and the Wizards got uh, Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, which obviously they traded Chris Paul for more, or for Jordan Poole, excuse me. They got the number 7 pick, Bilal Coulibaly, and then they got 2024 first round pick swap, second round pick, 2025 second round pick, 2026 first round pick swap, 26 second round, 27 second round, 28 first round pick swap, 28 second round, 30 first round pick swap, 30 second round. That's a lot.
But also, as a Heat fan, pick swaps to me is never an issue. Like I'll swap picks
Fair,
with you
fair.
whenever you
And
want.
second round picks. I get it. I get it. But if that doesn't, I guess. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I can't argue that. I mean, we do really be competing all the time. What you want
It's
me to
like
say?
even when you're in the lottery, you're 13th, 14th pick, and granted, those have gotten us two really good players. But I mean, at the end of the day,
Definitely.
you're getting a guy who's been an all-star for that pick too.
Hell yeah. You said what you think about Kyrie?
Yeah, I know the report came out that said that he wants his next team to be his last team, which I have my own opinions about the comment itself. Yeah, Kevin's snickering. We probably have the same sentiments, but where do you guys think that he could end up, or what makes most sense anyway? That's probably the better question.
Kev, if you want to start it off or what?
It's hard to say like what makes the most sense with him at this point because he got to Dallas last year and everybody thought, including me, I thought like Kyrie and Luca, who's gonna stop him on the perimeter, and they
And
stopped
they got worse.
themselves.
Yeah, they got
They
worse.
stopped themselves. Yeah, so it's like to me, Dallas would be the right answer, but like, is it really? Because they didn't look great. I see that he's supposed to meet with
Right.
Phoenix at the beginning of free. I don't know where Phoenix is.
And
Been
now,
all this
but
month.
Phoenix said I saw a report that said Phoenix isn't going to meet with him.
Okay, so
So
that was like the
like
Jalen Brunson.
after that report, after that
That was
first
like
shit.
the Jalen Brunson meeting with the Miami Heat report last year.
That's funny. That's funny. People just get real hype and say some shit real quick, but
I mean, I
That was just a
um
distraction.
I, I think that it's going to be Dallas because I think Dallas is going to end up being the only team to offer him a multi-year deal. I think a lot of people are like
mm.
very iffy with him at this
You know what
point.
I want? I want LA. Let go to the Lakers, play with LeBron, and just get back to basketball and healthy lifestyle. LeBron elevates your game. One, like, let's be real. And it's Kyrie Irving. So, like, we've seen LeBron help Kyrie Irving get better and help him play better on the court. We've seen that.
You know what
Not
else
to
would
say
be?
my fault. Go ahead.
No, you weren't finished. Keep going. I was just
Now I was gonna say, not to say like that's gonna be the like Kyrie's obviously way older at this point. However, them two, they're two savants. You know what I mean? And having that level IQ on an offense, it's nightmare. It's nightmare if the coach can do it, and that's gonna be the other thing. Like Darvin Ham, Kyrie Irving, and LeBron. All right, go ahead. Yeah, talk. I'm done. I'm done. I'm a mute.
so, so Brian Windhorst was on ESPN Cleveland earlier this week, and he was saying something along the lines of something's going on with the Cavs. He can't talk about it, is what
Oh,
he said, because he doesn't want to get himself in trouble. But
he just hinting at stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
he's
he's
funny.
doing
He's
that.
annoying.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? He's doing that whole thing. So, but I mean, what would be interesting is
Out the
there
windy.
was they also had the reports that Cleveland's open to moving Garland. So I mean, Kyrie back to Cleveland to finish his career where he started it. Uh, I mean, Kyrie, Donovan Mitchell, you've got good wing defenders, you got good perimeter defenders. It would be interesting. It'd be an
I
interesting thing there, but
that
I don't
I
know. We'll
think
see.
The New York Knicks still win against the wow,
Cavaliers.
drew a blank. Yes, thank you. Against the Cavs in the first round, but that would have been a good series. I believe it would have been a good series. Donovan
I
and
think,
Kyrie, I could see that. You know,
yeah, I mean, they would. That backcourt could give you 80 alone by themselves.
Whew.
So
man, And by the way, on that Knicks James Harden, them Knicks fans do not want James Harden. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. They do
Why
not want
would
James
you?
Harden.
I don't, and the ones
So
who do, I don't understand like the Harden and Dame, like the want for those guys. It's like you're just pursuing a name at this point. Like you just saw what Jalen Brunson did against the team that got to the finals. He gave him fits. So like, why would you take the ball out of that guy's hands?
yeah, 100%. I mean, it's not like you want James Harden. Well, he only. I guess he. How do I want to say this? Because I feel like with the Heat, I'm open to James Harden, and I'll say this: I think Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, and a pick or so, like a first round or so, and we could negotiate if they wanted some other little dumb shit. But James Harden on this team, just playing point guard with his elite play making ability. He's another savant. He's smart. He knows the game. I would savant maybe as a stretch, but he's definitely got a high IQ. Because if I'm not gonna put LeBron and Kyrie up here, he got a high IQ though, and he knows the game. And I understand he doesn't always come in shape, but I feel that the Heat are an organization that helps with that. So I James Harden, let's get James Harden. He's available. It's more so. I mean, are we going to sit around and wait for Dame? I feel like the Heat know about Dame. That's really the back judgment of everything. I feel like the Heat and Dame are going to be the thing. But again, it's tough if we go into next year and nothing. I'd rather James Harden
Yeah, I
or
mean,
Kyrie.
I think, I think for the Heat, Harden makes sense because the Heat need a point guard. But like,
Exactly.
if I'm the Knicks, I just saw what Jalen Brunson could do at
Yeah,
that
no,
position.
yeah,
Like, I
definitely
don't know how.
doesn't make sense. It don't make sense. And I mean, like that defensive backcourt, it's not going to be too pretty, So, all right, all right. What else we got there? What else we got there? Josh Hart. Speaking of the Knicks, Josh Hart. Josh Hart.
Yeah, Josh Hart.
He
Josh Hart
opted in.
option.
I guess what is that? I guess he saw the market. He word around town
Uh,
was you should opt in.
no, I think what's happening is they know DiVincenzo's coming, and they needed Hart to opt in so that they could still offer DiVincenzo the full mid level. So DiVincenzo's a Villanova guy. Probably talked to Josh Hart. Probably talking to Jalen Brunson. That's probably the scenario there. And then they probably got like a little handshake deal behind the scenes with Josh Hart and the Knicks going into next year.
And they probably did a little handshake
That's
too
fun.
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Just like the movies. Now, shout out to Josh Hart. He's clearly a team. You know what I mean? And you could never forgive what he did to Jimmy Butler in Game 1. But you as a player, I respect him. He's a good player. He plays hard. He's the guy you want on your team. Uh, he went to Villanova. Shout out to Philly. Um,
I
yeah.
guess.
So, well, shout out to Philly. But
Harrison Barnes is
I
staying
feel
in
you on it.
Sacramento too.
Yeah, 3 years, 50 million, something like that.
54.
54.
Good for him. Good for Harrison
I mean, what
Barnes.
is he like? 30? Yeah, don't do that.
Yo. The what is
All right,
it was
so
the what is he part was crazy.
Oh,
I'm thinking like 32, 31.
Yeah, I think it's like 30.
How old is Harrison Barnes?
Let me get a fact check on that. Hold up.
Harrison Barnes. Yeah, I
We
would
get a fact check on that?
gotta be probably 30, 31.
He's 31. He's 31.
Boom. So shout out to him. 3 years, 54 million. How do you feel about Sacramento wanting to retain Harrison Barnes and spend money where there's other free agents that might have been a target? How do you feel about that?
Run it back. What you mean? Like this,
Well,
we just did this. So what
with,
if it's not broken, don't fix it. You know what I mean? You gotta try to retain as many of those core players as you can. To just like I said, run it back.
Was
I feel that.
looking it up right now, but I think was he a free agent going into this off season? Yeah, he was. Okay, so
Yeah, he was.
okay, I wasn't sure if that was
Get that
an
new
extension
deal.
or if he
That's a
was.
nice deal. It's a nice deal.
It's a very nice deal for Harrison Barnes.
Hey, remind me who they lost to in the playoffs this past season again?
Golden
Golden
State Game
Hey,
7,
yeah,
50,
hey,
50 from Curry.
come on, man. What are you really gonna
Best
do?
Game 7
I
type
get it.
shit.
Well, number 2 seed, you guys were counted out all season, but you ran into them boys, so it's like you can't. You got to be able to hang
What?
your head on that if you're a professional.
Real quick, was that since 2016? Was that Steph Curry's first Game 7 playoff game?
I think so.
Like, it
They
probably
no no no
was,
no
right?
no.
No,
KD, they have one with KD, right? Houston.
And ain't Memphis take them to
OKC.
7
Houston.
last year too? No, they got swept. I'm
No,
tripping. I'm tripping.
Six. No,
no,
they lost to six.
It was in
Yeah,
six.
they
It was
lost
in
to
six,
six.
six.
Okay.
six.
They played whoop
in
that trick in Game
Memphis.
5.
Yeah, in Memphis. Yeah, and then yeah. Um, damn. So they had so they had that one Game 7
Yeah, I think it was Houston that they had in
when Chris
seven.
Paul got hurt,
Yeah, I believe that
and
was.
Houston missed like
What
43
was that?
pointers.
Was that the C? Was that before? No, because it was OKC before Cleveland when they blew that 3-1 to Cleveland. It was
Yeah,
OKC.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Houston.
Cool. I was gonna say because you bounce back in your first Game 7 and go for 50. That's crazy. But I mean, anyways, I think with the Kyrie Irving thing too, though, does he want to compete or does he want to find a home for the rest of his career? And two things could be true, but what you think?
I don't think he gives a fuck about finding a home for the rest of his career. I
That's
think
hilarious.
I think he wants to play ball and I think he wants to compete. I think every hooper wants to compete. If you don't, then you got to find a new profession.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
don't think.
well, free agents definitely go to places that are non-competitive.
No, yeah,
So
but I'm saying like if it's between those two things,
yeah,
I would put
I
more.
feel you.
Yeah, I don't think
So
he
shit,
cares about.
he need to go to the Lakers. I ain't even gonna lie. He need to go to the Lakers. They got to figure that out.
What I what I
Figure it out, Rob.
what I low key would love to see, and I know I'm like in the very small minority on this, is like a Kyrie or somebody of that stature to go somewhere and be like, yo, I'm taking the vet minimum to play here this year, just to give myself a chance to win a championship. Like, how much do you really want? Like a Dame. Like, if Dame was a free agent this year, like, how bad do you really want to win? Like, are you willing to
Well,
take
that's
the
like,
vet minimum somewhere?
you know what's crazy, yo? Like ring chaser, ring chaser, ring chaser. We hear that, but like think about the sacrifice Dame Lillard would take, or Kyrie Irving at this point, for this matter, signing a vet minimum for 1 year just to play with the Lakers. And it's like, yo, ring chaser, he want to play with LeBron, but it's like, I mean, he want to win, and he even gave up his salary
Yeah,
to do it. Like
that's what
that's
it.
how bad he wanted. You know what I'm saying?
It's put your money where your mouth is at that point. It's like, how bad do you want to win? If
Yeah,
I want to
like
win this bad, I'm willing to
I
give up.
want to buy a fucking championship, nigga. That's what I'm about to do. I'm about to buy the ring myself. That's crazy.
But Kyrie
Yo,
got
so
one, so I don't think for him it's like as crucial. But
right.
you know, I think he definitely wants to go somewhere where he's gonna compete. I think he's gonna end up in Dallas though,
A lot of Knicks
and
fans
then
was bugging out.
he might be on the move at midseason or something.
That's a good possibility to resign and move. I could smell that one. The Knicks fans was bugging out when IQ said he wanted 100 million. We agree that IQ is worth the $100 million contract. Do we not?
For how many years?
I mean, 4.
No. And
Nah.
I
It'd have
love
to be
I love
3.
Emmanuel quickly. I love Emmanuel quickly, but that's a lot of money.
So it is a lot of money, but he's playing at a high level and fitting right in for the Knicks and what they do. He's young, still like really young. Um, he's progressed every year. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and just defend IQ like that, but from his game and what I see for his future, I think that with this climate of the NBA and where the contracts are, that money he'll be worth that money.
Give him. I say, give him like 56 over 3.
Yeah, I mean, I love. I mean, like I was. Yeah, that's closer to the Harrison Barnes. You're giving him 4 years, 100 million is basically what you gave Brunson. That's Brunson got 104. So, and quickly ain't Jalen Brunson. And I get it. It's a different year. The market resets
That's
every
a
year.
lot of what it has to do with it too.
But
That Jalen
when it
Brunson deal is what though? It's what? It's a
4 years,
steal.
no, yeah, 100%.
So
He's
it's like
making less than Jordan Poole and Tyler Hero
what I'm
and all
saying.
those
So
guys
like I
together
mean,
have.
it's not his. He's not getting paid his value. I mean,
No,
Jalen
he's not.
Brunson. So like if
But
Jalen Brunson was getting signed, he was not signing that shit. You know what I'm saying?
but
So like
I think when it comes down to it, and you're playing on a team, especially in the salary cap sport, and you see your best players making 100/4, you can't go demand 100/4 too. Like I don't. I just don't think that like
you, shit. We was talking about it. It's a business. You certainly can. You certainly can demand that 104.
to me it's like you got like Pat McAfee, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then if he's making whatever he's making, let's say he's making $100 million, and then AJ Hawk comes in, he's like, "Yo, I want the same or Pac-Man Jones comes in, he's like, "Yo, I want the same contract as Pat McAfee."
Right.
You can't really do that. Like McAfee runs the show, Brunson runs the show. Like I get it, but if you want 100 million, you're gonna have to probably go find it somewhere else. Like at the end of the day, that's just what it's gonna be. Somebody will pay Emmanuel quickly $100 million.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I just don't
yeah.
think on the Knicks you can because of what you gave Brunson.
I you, I don't think the Brunson deal is going to be the end all be all in that aspect, but like to your argument, I get what you're saying as far as man,
He probably
it
wants the
is a
Tyler
big
Hero,
deal,
Jordan
but
Poole.
yeah, bro, yeah, and hey,
Jordan Poole got a ring. Tyler's got a 6 man of the year. Like
Jordan Poole got a ring off a year that Emmanuel quickly low key had type shit, and the thing about the difference was he didn't play on a great ass team like Jordan Poole, and also he didn't get to. He also got hurt in the Heat series. He played bad in the first round. He didn't play good up until the point he got hurt. He just started playing good that game, and it's you know the luck of the draw. But at the same time, I definitely think his game is going to translate to $100 million contract. So it's like you draft with projection. I believe you also sign with projection as well.
yeah, I mean the good thing is he's durable. Like he missed one game this year, but at the same time, like 15 points per game, I just don't see that production. 15 points per game, 38% from three. Like you're really good, a really good player. I just he gave a great number. I think 3 for 56 or even four for 84, something like that. Like, but like so that it's a big number, 100 million for 4 years for a guy like Quickly, who you still don't.
Tyler Hero got it.
Tyler Hero averaged 20 a game and won 6 man of the year. Quickly averaged 14.8 this year.
But after he got the deal,
What?
Tyler Hero averaged 20 points a game after he got the deal.
No, he did that last year. He got the deal in this last offseason.
Oh, you're saying last year? Yeah, 20.
Yeah.
Okay, so he did it back to back years.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like he did that before he got his contract. He won 6 man of the year, averaged 20 points a game. He was on a number 1 seed that was a shot away from the finals. He's a vital. I mean, he played a vital role on that team.
Who was the second? Who's the second? Who's the second man in the 6 man of the year this year?
Quick. Second ain't first. Can't get that same
It
money.
ain't. It. Touche. Man. Touche. Who won? Who won Six Man of the Year this year again?
Malcolm Brogdon.
They stealing money out there. They putting money in other people's pockets.
Hey, I
They
saw.
get in OPP.
I was looking at that Brogdon contract when they were trying to trade him, and I was like, I see why they're trying to trade him, especially coming off that injury. I can see it. He's making, I think 22 million for the next 2 years.
Hey, you know whose game is gonna hopefully get them a $100 million contract, and I'll switch over a different sport real quick. Is that boy from the Cincinnati Reds, Elly Cruz? This guy, unimaginable right now. We're seeing some amazing things in baseball, and he's one of them. How you feeling about it, June?
This is my new favorite player in baseball, y'all. Like, I was hyped to see the Reds hat on my boy Kev, and I heard when he got called up, and I'm like, okay, fire. I texted my boy Pierce, shout to Pearson G, because we talk about baseball and stuff. I texted him, I'm like, yo, they called up Dela Cruz. Oh, it's lit. And I just remember like that first week was just insane. Like, what's going on right now? So to see what he's done in 20 games of baseball, hitting 300, already hit 3 home runs, 25 hits. He scored 20 runs with 11 RBIs and 9 stolen bases. 20 runs, 11 RBIs, and 9 stolen bases, y'all. So, like, this is in the span of 3 weeks, 2.5 to 3, like a month, say a month.
Yeah. He's electric, and he's Dominican, so
Which is even better for real.
But yeah, I'm excited already for the next World Baseball Classic because we got Elly Cruz, Yuri Perez, Domingo Herman threw a perfect game yesterday. Shout out to Dominicans doing their thing right now.
Hey. So Jared Carabas.
We can't leave. Hold on. We'll get to that. We can't leave. We can't just transition Elly Cruz into Domingo Herman.
Yeah.
Only because
game.
No,
first Dominican.
No, Kev.
I'm a Yankee fan. Don't worry, I'm a Yankee fan.
There's some stories about this man.
I'm just excited about this perfect game. I feel like it could be the thing that catalysts the Yankees fucking season.
Here y'all go.
But anyway, the real thing I like about this
go ahead.
The real thing I like about this Elly Cruz kid is honestly just how, like you guys were saying, how electrifying he's playing, just the consistency, the work ethic. I also love how young and humble he is. Like he takes his games where he doesn't have a hit the same way he takes his games where he runs a whole cycle on them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was reading and I recently learned that he actually got the bag, went back home, opened an auto detailing business. Like young player, usually you see like the older guys that got a bag in the league a couple years, can I don't want to say necessarily afford because that's like the wrong context, but the fact that he's like so community driven at such a young age and so humble about it as well, that's probably one of the most beautiful things about this kid right now.
Yeah, I before Kevin chimes in, I just want to finish up. Like, he's 6'5", 200 pounds, flying down the bases, and like you mentioned, he hit for the cycle. Like, bro, I didn't even mention that when I said 20 runs, 11 RBIs, 9 stolen bases, hit for the cycle. I can also like chalk in 2 infield hits to first base. Like, what is going on? I think he stole home. He might have stole home. And for somebody that just, what can't he do in baseball? There's only a few. And we're seeing the position, like, not positionless, but like we're seeing you can put this guy anywhere and he can ball. We're also seeing like just more athleticism in the game itself, so that if you're an infielder, you can play anywhere. If you're an outfielder, you can play anywhere. And as a hitter, you're still able to get a good BA. You know what I'm saying? Like baseball is growing. It's growing, bro. What you think about him, Kev?
I like him. I think he's he's a good young player. And Cincinnati, I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that Cincinnati called him up, and then a few games later went on a 12-game win streak. You look at one bat can do so much in a lineup, and I think we're seeing it a lot across a lot of teams, like the Astros with missing Yordan Alvarez, Yankees missing Aaron
Yeah,
Judge, even the
yeah.
Red Sox missing Trevor Story all year. Like we
Facts.
see a lot of one bat can make a difference in the lineup, and right now Elly De La Cruz's bat has made a big difference for the Reds.
Hey, and at the right time too, they are currently tied for first place in the NL Central with Milwaukee, and I don't see Milwaukee lasting past after the All Star break that's coming up in like a week and a half or so. So he's getting hot at the right time, and the whole thing about baseball, especially this time of the season, is you need to
Getting hot at the right
yeah
time.
you need to go into All Star
Sound
break.
like my pops. Shout out to my pops. He always say this.
You need to go into the All Star break on the right foot and continue that momentum after All Star break.
It's
We don't
but the
now
I
say we
was
don't
just
see
gonna
many
say that.
teams do it that way. It usually happens the
Yeah,
opposite way, but it's like I said, it's on the right foot right now. They're getting hot at the right time.
yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off. It was just a slight delay, so I thought you were done. But it, it's still a dog fight through summer into fall. You know what I mean? Like All-Star break is here. Great. We're a month away from the trade deadline, and the Reds are like you said in second, right? So
Tied for first. Tied for first.
the Natties that we're talking about one of the worst, if not the worst team in baseball.
And
Kev made a
we're
great
also
point. I appreciate that point. How much one back can make a change. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say we're also speaking of one bat being in the lineup and making change. The Marlins with Luis Arise, because he's a machine at the plate, and that team, it's interesting now with this new management with Kim Ng as the GM and their first year in contention to see what they're going to do at the trade deadline because they're competitors this year and they need to be buyers now at the trade deadline. They can't do this, stand pat or make trades to, try to make some money back. You're getting people
Yeah,
to the ballpark. You're starting to get people come into the ballpark. They had 24,000 there the other night. That's unheard of at a Marlins game. So now's the time
24K is crazy.
to do something, make a move. I don't know if he's going to be available, but the Marlins need a catcher and the Royals suck. So I would call the Royals and see what
Oh,
Salvador
Salvador.
Perez. I mean, I know he's like a Royals lifer, but there's always a price, especially in baseball. But
There's
yeah,
always a time.
you've got Yuri Perez, and if Sandy can get back on track from what he was doing last year, but having that 1-2 of Perez and Alcantara, I mean, that would be huge. And they actually just kept up the dominance that South Florida sports has had over Boston today by sweeping the Red Sox in Fenway. So you had the Panthers come back 3-1 on the Bruins. You had the 8-seeded Heat beat the Celtics in Game 7 in Boston. And now you had the Marlins sweep the Red Sox in Fenway.
And I can
That's
appreciate that. As a Red Sox fan, as a South Florida resident, listen, from my hometown, I could take a 3 fucking game sweep, okay? The Red Sox and the Marlins, if they ever face off in the World Series, Marlins is getting hooked and real. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna throw them back. We're gonna let them live.
There
We're
it
gonna throw
is.
them back.
yeah.
Shout out to the
Hey,
Florida Wildlife.
Yankees.
Shout out
Yankees
to the
let
Florida
him live.
Wildlife.
The Yankees let him live in 2003 too.
Nah, Yankees
You saw
ain't
how that
never
played
hook.
out.
No, Yankees ain't never hook them. Yankees ain't never hook them. They thought they had him. They said fish was
hey,
gone. Fish. Looking for the nose. Nah.
Castillo team is still like one of my favorite baseball teams.
Juan
of all
Pierre
time.
was one of my favorite baseball players. He's one of my favorite baseball players ever. And shout out to I always remember Josh Beckett. Was Josh Beckett getting the closing pitch, or who was it? And he
Yeah,
tagged him.
complete game. Josh
That's
Beckett in Game
such a
6.
fire ass. Come on, bro. Like,
Bro, to win, you went up against that lineup first of all with Jeter,
yeah,
Posada,
bro. Yeah.
I mean, and then to throw that game in Yankee Stadium, Game 6 to win the
Ernie
World
Williams.
Series.
I think Soriano might have been there. Matsui
Yeah,
was
he
probably
was,
there.
because that was the year before they traded for A-Rod. So
Matsui.
it's,
Sheesh. Y'all had some guys out there. So shout out to baseball history. This is two, throwback things we got. We're gonna wrap up in like 15 minutes here. I want to jump into the NFL real quick. Let's wrap up with some questions. We got some questions, but first, Isaiah Rodgers. Come on.
There's a couple guys that are. We were just talking about letting people live. There's a couple guys that aren't gonna. They don't got the chance to live right now.
My boy, what's going on? What's up, Rashad Berry? What's going on with y'all boys, man? Damn. Demetrius Taylor. I heard he was a free agent. That's crazy. Nicholas Petit Frere. That's crazy. But my boys, Isaiah Rodgers and Rashad Berry, Isaiah Rodgers as a Colt, man, he had a short but fun Colt career. And I appreciate his time here. I do not him gambling on the fucking Colts. Like fucking idiotic, maybe is the term.
Hey, play
I don't
stupid
know.
games.
I don't know. I don't fucking know. But like, so yeah, get out. First of all, yeah, not on this team. Definitely, like, nah. But like, it's just like, damn, bro, I hate it had to be you type shit, Nino Brown type shit, man. Fuck.
Damn.
so is that
it's not something I understand. Real, go ahead, because I know one of them was like a miscommunication, but like Isaiah Rodgers bet on the Colts, like that's crazy.
So is that like that's what it was? He bet on the Colts.
Isaiah Rodgers bet on a Colts running back over under for $1,000 in a game. Typically, he was betting $25 to $50 games. That specific game, he bet $1,000 on an over under on a Colts running back.
I want to know if it cashed. I want to know what the bet was, and I need to know if it cashed.
So I mean, like,
well, it had to be the under. We sucked, but go ahead. We sucked.
I
And it cashed. He's like, boy, we put 1,000 on y'all sorry ass. Nah, but go ahead. Fuck it. Damn.
I don't really know how I feel about it because at the end of the day, the NFL has gotten in bed with FanDuel and DraftKings and these companies, and you can go into the stadium where it's illegal and gamble on these teams. So if you're in a state where sports gambling is legal, and you're betting on betting against your team, I can see because I can go out there and fuck around, blow coverage, whatever the fuck. But betting on my team, I've never seen like the Pete Rose thing is mind blowing to me because like I just don't understand a guy bet on his team.
I mean, exiling a player out of a league is insane. Yes, cutting a player makes total sense because it's a character thing at that point. It's just a problem you have. You have to go help yourself. We're not going to take care of you here for now. Okay, we have other cornerbacks that we just drafted. We'd like to groom them in a nice cornerback room. We don't want anybody else to get addicted to gambling. Fucking with you. That's kind of what was.
Okay, but so we don't want we don't want you to get addicted to gambling. But here's all these painkillers that we're going to prescribe you for the full season. Every time you sprain an ankle or tweak
you got me. You got me. All right, I'm on your side now. I'm not arguing that. Nah, I feel you.
But it's more the point that like if it's
different worlds too,
where they
though.
are, yeah. If they're gambling against the team, like that to me is like no brainer. Like you can't do that. You can't bet against your own team because you can. Yeah. That's integrity of the game at that point.
It's a conflict of interest at the end of the day.
Right, but to bet on myself or my team, to me, it's like that's just gonna make me go harder.
That's way too like objective. And one, if you're about to sign a contract with the NFL team of your choice, you could choose any team you want to play for. You're a free agent, hottest name in the league, NFL has a rule that you can't bet on NFL games. There's no NFL gambling, whether you live in a country that has strictest rules of only sports betting ever. Like, listen, you can't do it if you're going to play in this league. And you're like, all right, bet. And they're like, yo, we're going to throw this signing bonus right up in your bank account. Give us like a day, not even, maybe a little couple hours. Are you gonna just bet on the damn team, bro? Like you gotta bet on football that much? Like, bro, what?
This sounds like Adam and Eve. I guess
Nobody should have to do it.
In the history of
That's
mankind.
problem. That's a problem. If you cannot contain yourself from gambling sports while you're playing under a contract, and the contract says you cannot do that, that's a problem. Like much like if you're driving around with a suspended license and a gun, and you know that you shouldn't be doing that, and you get caught up doing it, who are you gonna tell the cop? What are you gonna tell the cop? Like,
I would be willing to say at least, and I'm going to low number.
You're going to jail.
I'll keep the number real low, but just off of like my knowledge of knowing certain people and athletes who played in college, at least 25% of college athletes are gambling on sports. Maybe it might not be their team, but at least and that's a low number. Like I would say it's closer to 50 probably.
I get it.
Yeah,
but it's not about the number of people doing it. It's the rule. And guess what? It's like a vape pen in 2023. College players are gaining this traction of gambling, and then they're only going to start making more money in the league to gamble. And that is a problem in a lot of society, and it's sad. And I'm not even trying to be too funny, but like, bro, sports gambling has taken over the world, or the country at least, but it's taken over the world, really, actually. And not to say it's never been around, but it's just so blown up now that if you are willing to blow your professional dream and career over gambling money to win money when you could just play good in your career and earn money, which you agreed to do because you're already under contract making money, there's no logic behind like this should be a oh bro what why y'all tripping? Like that's how I feel about it.
I get that it's a rule, and at the end of the day you need to abide by what's in your contract.
You feel like why is it a rule? I get it. Right. I get it. But because at the end of the day it's like, go ahead. I feel you.
Hey, you got us.
It's like you can't go promote the shit out of DraftKings and FanDuel every time you got a game, put the spreads on the board pregame for every game, and then tell your players like, no, y'all can't gamble. Like these athletes are going to the strip club and blowing $10,000. At least if I put $10,000 on a game, I can win it back. You know what I mean? Like I would say having an addiction to naked
so then Kev, think about this, Kev. They're gonna be like, all right, y'all can gamble, but you have to gamble on your team or other teams and your team. It's like, you don't think homeboys in the league could make money and finesse a way to make money off gambling through sports? They got close relationships in the league, so it's like the NFL is not going to put themselves in a situation where y'all went in through the back door. Pause. No, we're not doing that. Everything is fucking barred around. We got secured perimeters, and we're not going to let any infiltration from players with financials at all. So like, it's too tricky to me of an avenue concept to just say, to accept like, oh, it's a stupid rule, but it's like, I mean, it ain't.
It's not. It's like it's the same concept as insider trading, to be honest. Like, and that's almost, I would say, if not on the same level, on a bit of a bigger level, to be honest. Because yeah, you could have some real good information from somebody within the team.
Parsons.
A lot of people get good information though. There's plenty of guys who bet on sports that have information and use it and give it out. So it's not like this is something new where it's like you get agents that have player news, you get reporters that have the scoop on people who's hurt, who's not. Like, what's to stop these guys from going and putting money on it because they know what's up?
Nothing. Or because that has nothing to do with us. That's him.
The biggest question that I have regarding this rule is, does it apply to Roger Goodell? Because if Roger Goodell is allowed to bet on football games then everybody should be allowed to bet
100%.
on
I
football
feel that.
games.
I
Yeah,
feel
we
that. That we
we
can
gotta
agree. We can
leave.
agree right there.
We gotta leave the topic on that note right there, because
That was it right there.
that was definitely it right there.
I'm calling Roger Goodell out to show us his contract. The way they did with Donald Trump to show
Is
his
Roger
contract.
Goodell allowed to gamble? That's a good question. All right. But yo, we got a couple questions. Speaking of, before we wrap up, we got a good like 5-7 minutes here. Let's kind of get some quick answers here with some questions we got from Twitter, some questions we got from Kev, and a question we got from E. Some questions we got from E, I should say. So shout out to Matt on Twitter, Colts fan, lives in Nashville, solid dude. Do quarterback wins matter to decide if a quarterback is good or not? For an example, we saw Matthew Stafford, how bad of a franchise that was throughout his tenure, but he is a great quarterback. Like, how do you guys feel about that?
When you started reading the question before you said Stafford, that's the first quarterback I thought of. Because it's true. It's like his team wasn't good, but he always had good numbers.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think that you can say that a quarterback is bad because he's not winning. However, I think that if a quarterback is winning consistently and he hasn't had as much, then that makes them elite. So like an Aaron Rodgers, whose team never drafted a wide receiver in the first round, or a Tom Brady who never had other than Randy Moss, who always did more with less, or Peyton Manning, who you look at guys like Austin Collie, who
Nah, Peyton Manning had his guys. I can't let you get that one off.
no,
We
but
did have Marvin and Reggie
I'm
wide.
not talking about the number ones though. I'm talking about like when you can
Like
elevate
anybody.
a number
But the
4.
Patriots ain't never really have a number one. But at the same point you're making, it's the same thing. I get you.
Yeah, when
I
you can
get you.
elevate a guy from who's the fourth wide receiver, and then like Rodgers did with Greg Jennings.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Jennings was great as a Packers number one. Then went signed big money with the Vikings, and we didn't really hear from him again until he started working for Fox.
Shout out to Greg Jennings, man.
Like that.
Shout out to the legendary YouTube video. E, what you think about this question? Do quarterback wins matter to decide if a quarterback is good or not?
I mean, nah, it doesn't. It doesn't really play a factor. If the team sucks, but the quarterback is out here dropping dimes, wherever he can, then I mean, you got to take the work that speaks for itself at the end of the day. Like, I am not solely responsible. I mean, I'm the general of the team, but at the same time, like, I'm not solely responsible for the outcome of the game.
Us having the worst defense in the league. Like, that's not my fault. We let up 120 rushing yards per game on defense. My bad, coach. I'll try to throw a better spiral.
Because even you look on the flip side of it, and Nick Foles won a Super Bowl as a backup quarterback. So it's not like, I mean, you need a team. Football is one of the sports that you need a team. Like at every position, you need everybody to do their job.
No, definitely. I also think that you see it a lot from young quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence, for example, they won last year. They played good. And Kev, I must say that AFC divisional game, it was a close one. And the Jags could have won that game and snuck away with a win in Kansas City. And the fumble in the red zone late, it really costed them. Tutu Atwell, was it? Who was that? Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Trevor Lawrence is an amazing quarterback, and we knew this since he was going to come out of the draft, and he had a sloppy rookie season, but the talent is there. You know what I mean? And you see that when they don't have, sometimes you give a guy a little help, because being elite, you're not going to be elite in your first 2 years if you don't have those guys. You know what I mean? You need some sort of help around you, some sort of momentum that's around, so you can come in and do something. But when you are able to just get a little bit of talent in your third year or so, and you're starting to see drastic changes, much like this Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville Jaguar situation, he can still be elite. No, I don't think it matters to answer that one. Let me move on to the next one before we wrap up. Are overseas games in Europe or London, good or bad for the fans? So think about it in the aspect of like, say you're a Titans fan and your team is going to play the Raiders this week, and you're a Raiders fan, but you live in Nashville, and the Raiders are coming to Tennessee, and you want to see them, but they're not coming to Tennessee because they're going to Europe, Germany, or London. Do you think
Yeah,
that's good or
I
bad
guess
for the fan?
I guess the question is who's fans, like, and where are they? Because I mean, apparently there's fans across the seas that we're trying to reach. Um,
Y- You're definitely allowed to go to the game if you're from
yeah,
Nashville. I
I
mean, you got a
think. I mean,
passport.
I think. I think
Not a
at
felon.
at
You
the
can
end
go
of
to
the
the
day, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that it's not really for the fans. It's really the politics behind sports themselves. I mean, we've seen an international sport like soccer do this all the time. They come over here and play their friendlies, play their CONCACAF cups, all of that. They play them in the states. They come over here and they're like, "Yo, y'all suck," and but y'all love us, so y'all gonna come watch us. Um, I don't think they have American football in Europe, so we can't really say that they suck at that. But
That's why there is no American football in
They
Europe.
do. They
They
do.
do
They
though. Nah.
have
Oh wait. No,
the
they definitely do.
European League of Football has 24 teams currently, and they're trying to grow the league. So
And where did Connor?
they're
Where does
definitely
he play now? In Germany
Barcelona
still?
Dragons. Yeah,
He
he
went
plays
to
for
Barcelona.
Barcelona. Yeah,
That's fire. Shout out to Connor. He does. So, but it's funny because that's a European thing, right? And obviously Europe is like the States, much like, travel is close to each other. It's not like it's you can't get to different places. So,
and
okay.
I
Okay.
believe they also just in week 2. They're in week 4 right now of their season in the European League of Football. But in the second week, one of the teams set a record for attendance, and they had over 30,000 fans at the game. So that's a big number for European,
Oh, yeah.
American football in Europe, a non
that's fire.
NFL game at that. So
That's fire. I like that.
30,000 is a packed out stadium for real. For real, for real. That's
yeah,
dope. I love
yeah.
to see the game grow.
And I think that's a great alternative, like the European League of Football, how they used to have NFL Europe. I think they should get back
Yeah.
into something like that. But like
Yeah.
having the NFL teams go to Europe for regular season games to me is like it's too much. Like
It
to
is a
have
lot.
them travel all that way, and then your body takes a few days to just get used to all that travel and like the time difference and everything. So I think that's why usually when you look at those games, they're usually sloppy, ugly games. They're not like entertaining great football.
Yeah, they're
It
not typically. And the
it could
weather's
also be
always
the
rain. The
teams.
weather's always dark.
Yeah, it could also be the teams they're sending over there because it's always like garbage. But whatever.
Jacksonville versus the
Yeah,
Jets,
right.
which
Yeah,
at the time,
I think they had like
Anyway,
Jags Falcons last year or something. Like who's really trying to like at least if you're gonna do it, send like the Chiefs and the Bengals. Like give us a marquee game over
prime
there.
time game, yeah. Let the fans see the raw players. No. Hey, should Lamar Jackson and Odell Beckham be favored to win the AFC North?
No, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase should.
Let's go. Hey,
The Bengals,
yeah.
the Bengals do have a good defense. I mean, complete team. We saw last year. This is a good question. I mean, we saw last year how Patrick Queen and that defense and Roquan Smith were able to really, really make Joe Burrow struggle and almost win that game. And it came down to a kind of wild ending with Tyler Huntley as a quarterback. And shout out to Tyler Huntley. Like, it's not to take away, but Lamar Jackson wasn't there. Neither was Rashad Bateman, I don't believe. So, or Odell Beckham for that matter. Uh, I think it's a good question. The defense of side of the ball for Baltimore is young. They're fast. Uh, I could definitely see Lamar Jackson and the Ravens winning the AFC North. However, that's not the question. So, yes, Kevin is correct in my opinion. They should be favored, the Bengals, that is, to win this division. Especially seeing how they blew their chances in the AFC Championship. It was so close. It was so close, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling couldn't fucking not run a great route and catch a great ball.
Ugh, why not?
Hey, I guess that wraps up the show. I appreciate Matt. I appreciate appreciate Kevin them for them comments, them questions. I didn't look at any YouTube comments. I don't know if anybody even joined the stream. If you did, I appreciate you. If you're watching this another time, we appreciate you. Follow us on Twitter at ATSPOD, on Instagram at ATSPOD official. Shout out to Kev. Shout out to EP. I'm Julian.